evening, and welcome to Credit Talk Live. I am your host, Todd Stern, for the next half hour. Boy, what a great show we have. This is a live call-in television show, and it is... Okay, sorry about that. Got a little cues from my production people. And we're also broadcasting live on Facebook here, so if you have any questions or comments, please give us a call. So this is a live call-in show. Our phone number here is 312-738-1060. So we are going to talk about credit reports, mortgages, bad credit, good credit, you name it. It's your forum. Whatever kind of question you have for me today, I will answer that for you. So let's talk a little bit about our show last week, and many of you who have watched, we had our co-host, Attorney Larry Smith, on, and it was an excellent conversation, and he discussed a lot about credit reports and disputing. Well, he started talking about how to dispute credit reports. Basically, was talking about going online, doing this stuff right with the bureaus or these free services. But then he said, stop. The problem a lot of times with these free services are you get what you pay for. They're very, very difficult and they're very limited. If you are going to repair your credit and you do need some help, definitely write letters. Don't try to do it online. Very difficult. Better yet, hire a professional. As I've mentioned before, there's a lot of companies in Chicago that can help you out. There's a lot that will give you consultations that won't even charge you for things. So definitely use the internet to your advantage. But again, I've heard a lot of people go on these online type of systems and do disputing items, and it just turns out to be a disaster. So seek out professional help. That's my words to you. Okay, so let's go to our email. I put a feeler out there for all our followers on Facebook talking about cars and car sales, and asked my Facebook audience, how many people have had issues with car dealerships. And oh my gosh, the comments just did not stop. So let me read some of these questions that were asked to me. First question was, how do I get 0% financing on a car? I'm sure we've all seen these commercials, 0% financing for 60 months or whatever, which is a great deal if you're going to finance a car because it's free money. Well, then they say for qualified Tier 1. Well, what is Tier 1 financing? Tier 1 financing is you're going to be in the 700, 740 or above. That's how you get Tier 1 financing. So again, credit scores are very, very important. Keep them up, and that's how you get that awesome financing. So when you hear Tier 1, we know we got to be above 740. Let's see. If you're put into a high interest loan, is there a possibility that you can refinance afterwards? And we hear that all the time. Car dealers will sell you a car and they'll basically say, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about this high rate. You're going to be able to refinance it. Get your credit straightened out. Now, yes, the best advice that he gave you was to get your credit straightened out because that's going to help in the future. Unfortunately, a lot of times with these high interest type loans for cars is that you're going to be what's called upside down. A car really is a horrible investment. We need it, but it's not a good investment as far as return because it's a depreciating asset. So if you go buy a new car today, and I drive it for a week or two, I paid $30,000 for this car. I bring it back to the dealership. Now they're going to give me $26,000. I mean, wait a minute, I just paid $30,000. Now it's a used car. So cars, unless you're buying real classic cars that you see on TV, go through these Mecum auctions and stuff like that, which are money pits, by the way, those type of cars. But it's not a good investment. If you're able to, depending on how many miles you drive a year, and if you like getting a new car every couple of years, I suggest leasing. Leasing is a great option for owning a car. It's basically like you're renting it. Now, the way you figure it out is, and I'm going to go easy terms here, easy numbers. Let's say your payment is $100 a month. on a lease, which would be an awesome, awesome price. So we know it's going to cost you more than that. But anyways, it's a 36-month lease. So at the end of it, it's $3,600 that you paid on your lease payments. Versus if you were to purchase the car, keep it for 3 years. So you purchase it for $40,000. Now they give you $30,000 a trade-in. So that car cost you $10,000 versus $3,600 in leasing. So leasing is really a good way to go, especially if you don't, if you drive 10,000 plus miles a year, and you like to get out of your cars. Now it's funny because everybody, the day they get their car, it's the happiest day, but as soon as they have the car for a year and a half, 2 years, I was just talking to somebody on the way here, and he tells me, oh, I'm already sick of my car. I'm like, you just got that car. So he can get out of the lease, but the problem is, same thing, it's going to cost you money. Anything you do, loan-wise or lease, if you want to get out early, it's going to cost you money. I always say that with leases, you just got to ride it out. It's 3 years. A lot of times, though, when you're going from one manufacturer back into that same manufacturer, they will allow you to get out anywhere from 3 to 6 months earlier as long as you're taking one of their cars again. So again, if you can lease and you like to get new cars all the time, that's definitely the way to go. So some of my other questions were, do you have to be a certain age to buy a car? Well, yeah, they're not going to sell it to you when you're 12 years old, and there could be some kids that have the money, but no. I think you need to be, at least 16 and have a driver's license to buy a car. So that you'd have to check with your local laws, and each state might be different. But just be smart about it. Okay, here's a question that somebody sent me. If I buy a brand new Chevrolet out of state and you bring it back to the Chicago area, you bought it from a dealer, your brother works at some dealership in Michigan. Can I bring it, to a Chicago dealership? Are they going to honor my warranty? I bought it somewhere else. Absolutely. Absolutely they're going to. So what I suggest doing is, even if that car dealership is right across the street from you, if you can get a better deal going from Chicago to Schererville, Indiana, do it. Because you know what? The guy in the city, he's going to service your car. They make their money on service. That's where car dealers make a ton of money. They love servicing cars. They all complain that they make no money selling you the car. They're selling it under invoice. So, which, I don't know. You're never going to get a straight answer, unfortunately. But you can service your car anywhere. As long as it's under warranty or even paying, it doesn't matter. So that's an excellent question, because I even see a sign on one of the dealerships talking about taxes too. Now I live in the suburbs. If I buy a car in the city, we know the taxes are higher in the city. It doesn't matter. It is where you live is how they tax you. So don't worry about titling a car in Northbrook or Wilmette or Park Ridge, wherever you are, and buying a car in the city. You're going to pay the tax for the area that you live in. So that's something that you need to pay attention to as well. Okay, we answered that question. What is the most popular color for a car? I don't know. Somebody give me a call, 312-738-1060 right now. Tell me, any of my Facebook people out there too, what's your favorite color? Let me know. I will, I would say silver, black, depressing colors. I don't know why everybody gets silver and black. My favorite color is white. All my cars are white. Why white, they ask me. It stays the cleanest. People think, oh no, dirt's going to show up. It's the opposite. On a dark car, that's where you see the dirt. A white car, you don't see the dirt. So that's why I like white cars. And I don't want to have dark, depressing cars anyways, but they look good when they're clean. So, okay. Let's see, somebody said, gray doesn't show dirt. Okay, or scratches. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's actually one of my car people that I do some work with. But gray is a nice color as well, but it's personal preference. And a lot of times when you go to car dealerships, you know that you want this red car, but this guy might not have it. Car dealerships also do dealer swaps, where they might go to another car dealership and get that car for you, the red one. They don't want to lose a sale. Most of the car dealerships all work with each other because one does it for one, the other one's going to do it as well. So don't be that concerned for a car, or they can even order it for you. Let's see. Okay, so that's enough with cars. We've talked about cars. Let's talk about your credit report. How is your credit report? Have you checked it lately? I tell everybody at least once a year you want to look at your credit report. Why? Because there could be mistakes. All the time it happens. I have some family members that all of a sudden stuff was showing up that had nothing to do with them. So check it once or twice a year. Annualcreditreport.com. It's a free service. You can go do it. Some of these other free ones are, they're okay. They give you partial reports. Or you can go right to the bureau and actually buy the report or do one of these subscription things. A lot of them have teasers like you can join for $1. So maybe do the $1 and then cancel the service and at least get your reports so you can see them. Now, if you're ever turned down for credit, you're going to receive a letter that is stating that you were turned down by one of the bureaus, either TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, and you can send away for a free credit report. I highly suggest doing that as well, because it's very, very important. So you review your credit, because people will tell me all the time, oh, I have perfect credit. Then we look at their credit and we see things, and most of the time, now the credit bureaus have gotten way, way better. Years ago, we used to see tons of mistakes, but they've gotten better because the problem is they can get sued for inaccurate information. So you want to be 100% accurate with the credit report, and they're actually doing a very good job at it. And then if there is negative information, you definitely have the right to dispute that as well. So again, everybody look at their credit report. Okay, now I've paid my bills late, I've got collections, judgments, bankruptcies, oh my, what do I do? People call us at the help center all the time. And by the way, the help center right back there, that is our phone number. If you have any questions, give us a call, 773-862-4000. We'll get in tomorrow, and our voicemail is loaded with questions because people just don't want to go on TV. So this is a free service. We're here just to help you out. So give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But negative information does remain on your credit report for 7 years. What is negative? I just discussed it. Late payments, collections, charge-offs. Well, what about bankruptcies? How long do those stay on? Bankruptcies stay on for 10 years. From the time that it was dismissed, there's two types of bankruptcies. For personal, there's a Chapter 7 and there's a Chapter 13. So a Chapter 7 is a total wipeout of the debt. A Chapter 13 is a court-ordered repayment plan. So sometimes people want to file bankruptcy, but they don't qualify for a Chapter 7 because maybe they have equity in their house or they have money in the bank. The courts are basically going to say, hey, you can pay these bills, but you might still be behind on it. So then what they do is they'll set up a payment plan with the creditors, and most of the time then the creditors will shut the interest off, and X amount will come out of your paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever it is to pay down these creditors. And that could take, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it might be, but sometimes they will not allow you just to do a Chapter 7. So depending on your situation, those are the two different types of bankruptcies. And again, they stand for 10 years. So what can I do? I've got this stuff on for 3-4 years now, this negative information. It's really hurting my credit. I can't buy a house. I can't get a car or a credit card, nothing. So what do I suggest? Again, you can try to fix it yourself or seek out some help. Okay, let's take a little break here and go to our first call. I'm sorry for keeping everybody on hold for such a long time. Go ahead. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm just wondering, how long does the late payment stay on there? Is it also about 7 years?
Now, late payment would be 7 years as well. So, have you had a late payment recently, or is this from the past?
Yeah, it was recent.
Okay, so what probably happened is, did you notice that your score dropped a little bit?
Yes.
So that's what happens right away. Your score will drop, but over time, your scores will come back up. So I would just suggest watching that. Make sure that you pay your bills on time and get it set up automatically so it does pay it automatically every month. And how are your balances on your credit cards? I think we lost our caller, but another thing to keep your scores good are 30% rule. So if your credit limit is $1,000, anytime you start going over $300 on your credit limit, that is going to affect your score. So you want to keep your balances below 30%. Okay, let's go to our next caller. Hello, caller.
Hi. I'm about to buy my first car.
Excellent.
My previous job, I could just take public transportation, but now I need to buy a car. And I'm just wondering how important your credit score is in buying a car. Do they even look at that?
Yeah.
And does that affect the price that you can buy the car for? I think I have some, I've paid some of my bills late, but that was a while ago.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just wondering if that'll make a difference. And does it make a difference if you buy a new car or a used car?
Those are all excellent questions. So credit score is not going to affect the cost of the car. What it's going to affect is the interest rate if you're going to finance it. So depending, as we were talking about, if you caught the beginning of the show, we were talking about 0% financing, tier 1. You've seen these commercials, so it's basically free money. So that you need a super high credit, super high credit score for. Now, if you have some dings on your credit and your credit score is, in the 6s, you're not going to get that. Or in the 5s. The lower your score is, the higher the interest rate is going to be, and the bigger down payment they're going to make you get. A lot of times there's...
You mean like my monthly payments will be higher?
Yes, absolutely. Your monthly payments will go up. So, for instance, if you have this 0% financing, your monthly payment, I'm just making up numbers here, say it's $300 a month. Now, if you have bad credit and you're at a 9-10% interest rate, which we see all day long, I've seen them as high as 25%, your $300 payment now might be $420. And a lot of times what I tell people all the time is that, they're going to tell you, the dealers are going to tell you, oh, your payment's going to be $380 a month. So then I'll ask people, I said, well, what's the interest rate? Oh, I don't know. You want to know what that interest rate is. That is so important because you may be like, oh, $380 a month, no big deal, I can handle it. But it's at 6-7% or something. When you really could qualify for a better rate, now that $360, $370 really should be a $320 payment, $50 a month difference, $600 a month, or actually more, $700 a year difference. That's a huge savings times 3 years. That's going to make a big difference. So when you are purchasing a car, make sure that you always ask what is the interest rate, because that's going to, and do your homework. Know what your credit score is, know what you're getting into. And one other thing, I don't know if you've gone looking for a car yet, but make sure that you tell this car dealer that you do not want your application sent out to all these different places, because they shotgun them. They'll send them to 10 different places, and all of a sudden you have 10 inquiries on your report.
Does it matter if you buy like a used car with lots of miles on it versus a new car?
You're actually going to get a better rate on a new car. As crazy as it sounds, it might even be more expensive, because a used car, again, it's a depreciating asset. It's not worth as much. The chances of it breaking down are much higher. And if they do have to repossess it, they're not going to get as much money. So usually on used cars, like older ones that have a lot of miles, they are going to require bigger deposits and usually higher interest rates. So you're going to get, as crazy as it sounds, even leasing cars, right now, where 2018, we're here, But you go to the lot and there's still some 2017 cars. Thinking, oh, I'm going to get a better deal on the 17. Absolutely not. You're going to get a better deal leasing a 2018. Why? Because your residual rate, which means that is the predetermined dollar amount that this car will be worth at the end of your term, of your 3 years or whatever it might be. On a 2017, technically it's a year old, but you're like, well, the car's brand new. But 3 years from now, it's a 2017, and it's 4 years. So that's why you're better off getting the most current year on a car.
Can I do something to like raise my credit score? Can I talk to a credit repair company and have them, I don't know, do something about my late payments or something like that?
Absolutely, and as I've suggested on this TV show several times, the best source right now is go to the internet. I always say that's, or if you have a referral, read reviews. Like when you go to a restaurant, don't you kind of read the reviews ahead of time to find out if the restaurant has 1.5 stars and a bunch of reviews? You want to stay away from that one. If the credit repair company, and there are some good ones in Chicago, if they have a lot of reviews, look for the guy that's got the most reviews and stars. It goes up to 5 stars. There's some companies out there with great reviews. Call them up and make sure talk to them. And you want to make sure also that there's no upfront fees. To do it legally, it's got to be a month-to-month program. So if a guy tells you he wants $500 for 6 months, we're going to get to another caller in a second here. If he wants $500 for 6 months, he's not in compliance. Month-to-month payments, and they also have to provide you proper paperwork. A good credit repair company, a contract's going to be 10 to 12 pages long. Notices of cancellation, they have to provide 2 of those to you, 72 hours for a full refund. Consumer disclosures, state disclosures, federal disclosures. If they don't give you any of that stuff, run the other way. Okay, I think we have another caller on the phone here. Hello, caller.
Hi, I just ran my credit report and I'm thinking of buying a house, and I noticed there was something on the credit report from 6 years ago. And I'm thinking, is it worth it for me to dispute it or to just wait another year and then it will be off the credit report?
Well, it depends. It all depends what your score is, and sometimes it also depends what the date of the last time this item has been reported to the credit bureau. If it was updated recently, then I'd say, yeah, go ahead and dispute it. If it hasn't been updated since 2013 or something like that, and you think you have a year left, depending on what your situation is, I might leave that alone, because I have seen what happens sometimes is that on an old item like that, people will dispute those items that have not been updated, and all of a sudden their score drops. As crazy as it sounds, because it was redated and will affect the score. And depending on what the item is, a lot of times if it's that old, hopefully it shouldn't play that much into the credit score. If it's a charge off, meaning you didn't pay a bill or something like that, could be, something. But, but what I would suggest doing is, get a copy of your credit report. Feel free to call us at the center. I'll be more than happy to look at it and point you in the right direction. So,
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. Excellent question. Again, time cures everything. The older the item is on the report, the less it's going to affect your score. But we don't want to have problems to begin with. So again, don't get a ton. My final words are, don't get a ton of credit cards. Stay away from those department store cards. I hate them. I've told everybody about it. It gets people in nothing but trouble. And keep your balances below 30% of the credit limit. Don't buy stuff that you know you can't afford. Or if you go buy that expensive TV, have a plan. Okay, I'm going to pay this thing off in 6 months. Just too many people go into these things blind, and next thing you know, they got all these credit card bills, and it's just out of control. Okay, so I do have to wrap up. I do want to thank everybody and my Facebook audience, Michelle, for watching right now. Thank you very much. It was a great show. Next week, actually, I will be back next week. Our co-host, Larry Smith, has a previous engagement, so he will not be able to be on the show. So you got me, the guru, Todd Stern. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, 6 p.m. Thanks for watching Credit Talk. Or give us a call at the Help Center. Goodbye.